Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you, depending with where you are joining from. I wish to welcome you to our May Roundup call. For those joining us for the first time, we usually meet every second Thursday of each month for us just to learn from each other, connect, hear what's happening in the CHT ecosystem, and also learn about the latest product updates. So my name is Anthony Haemba. I'm the community manager working at Medic. I'll be facilitating this session being supported by Josh. We are grateful that you have been able to join us on time, and we are looking forward to an engaging session. So for today, we have an insightful agenda. We'll be having the program team that is currently involved in supporting MOH Ivory Coast deployment, just sharing their learning and experiences. And their presentation will be in two phases. The first phase, they'll be sharing the commodity workflow, and then they'll be also be demoing how they've been able to achieve CHT DHS2 interoperability using OpenFN adapter. So we are hoping to learn more from that. And then we'll have a new contributor sharing more about collapsible contact summary card, and also take some time just to share a few updates on CHT core updates release. So we are looking forward to an insightful discussion. So at this particular time, I'll be handing over to our first presenter, Yel, to take us through the MOH Ivory Coast deployment.
Thank you, Anthony. Hello, everyone. So my name is Yel Avisudo. So I'm a project manager at Medic for West Africa. And today I'm going to talk about this project that we did in Ivory Coast. So basically, the Ministry of Ivory Coast within a year of collaboration with Mousso that Medic has in this area. They were already using the CHT application. So based on that success with the Mousso, so the government of the Ivory Coast decided to select the CHT as his national electronic community health system. So this project was funded by Global Fund, and we work with several partners of the ministry. There was a Save the Children and Mousso in order to achieve the goal that was almost 12,000 CHW by the end of 2026. So I'm happy to let you know that today we are in the middle of 2026, and we have more than 8,000 current users CHW that are using this application, and almost more than 200,000 household was registered to this application, and we cover all the district of Ivory Coast. We have 53 districts, and we reach out all those 53 districts. So what was implemented? I'm going to just give you more detail about the use case. So we went to do anything related to the child health under 5. So ICCM for malaria, pneumonia, diarrhea, and also the immunization and malnutrition. Also anything, all the workflow related to reproductive and maternal health. So family planning, the postnatal care, antenatal care, and any birth registration, also the death reporting. Of course, we need, since we are in health, we need to promote all the best practices for the care. So that was implemented as well for home visit and group discussion to sensibilize the community about the good manner on the health, if I can say it like that. Of course, there is also the supervision for the CHW to make sure that they are doing their work correctly and to assist them. So we develop a module for them. We have also the commodity management that we call here stock management or stock monitoring that we implemented. And also the loss of sight. This is where, for example, we have a child that moved to another area and he already started to do we already started to give him some care and then we lost him. So the CHW how to make sure that he's able to find that person. So that was the use case that was implemented for this project. And to give you an idea as well about how it was implemented, the process. So everything started in 2023. And this is where we collect all the information to make sure that we meet all the requirements. So we developed the tool, and then in 2024 it was more like the pilot phases. So we did some training and we did a pilot with 6 districts to see how the application goes and how the CHW can use it. So it was really successful that pilot. And then in 2025 we started the scale up. So in order to register more district, and we reach out the remaining district, and also there was some user feedback session that we did in order to learn from the pilot, the lesson learned from the pilot, in order to enhance the workflow. So this is what we did. So we improve all the existing workflow. And in 2026, end of 2025, we started to do the commodity management or the stock monitoring, and we implemented this year. So now it is available, and the plan by the end of the year, based on the roadmap, it's really to move to self-hosting, to finalize some additional dashboard, the dashboard, and that is the plan. And for next year, we are thinking about the capacity building. The plan is to do capacity building to make sure that the MOH take the ownership of their tool. So that's the phases of the implementation. I will now talk about the commodity management or the stock management. For the stock management, just to let you know, there are 2 actors. We have the CHW that is at the level of the community, and we have the stock manager who is at the health center. For the CHW, basically, there are a few features that we implement. It's the stock count, so to do his inventory of the material that he have, and he can do a stock request in order when he see that there are some stock out or risk of stock out, so he will do that. And the stock return, it's when something happened to his stock because there is expiration or a defect, so he's gonna return it. And of course, we have the stock receive, which is a confirmation that he received after doing a stock request. At the stock manager level, it's really the stock supply. So from a request from the CHW, and we add the feature of discrepancy resolution in case he sends some stock and to the CHW, and he doesn't confirm that it's the same amount, so he has to put some information on that. And we have also the stock return confirmation that I mentioned earlier. So let's go to a demo. I will show you concretely how does it work. I will share my screen. Let me do that. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, you can see it. Please go on.
Okay, perfect. So here I'm connected as CHW on my screen, as you can. This is the health area of the CHW. So you can see here his inventory. He has nothing. So the first time he log in, he has to do his inventory. So he will click on the plus button here in order to do the stock count and to tell exactly what he has. For example, for the ACT, he have to put how many tablet, how many blister that he need, how many tablet. So let's say I'm gonna put 10 blister for everything. I can add some tablet. I can put the 5. So 5 depending on what he has. So here for this demo, I'm gonna put everywhere 10 so that then we can see. So yeah, we have a lot. We are almost there. Okay, then at the end, he just a summary of what he has. So I'm going to submit it. As you can see, everything was increased on this screen. When you see the amount in red, in green, this means that he has enough stock. When it is in orange, it means that he has to pay attention of his stock. And when it is wet, it means that it is low compared to the amount that he has. So, and so this is how we do he will do his inventory. I will now, for example, do a request for stock. So he has to select the category of the stock that he wants to have. So I'm gonna go with RDT, rapid diagnostic test, and he will specify the amount that he want. So at this moment, he say that he has a 10 box and of a certain unit, he can mention that, yeah, I want the two more box and 3 units. So the system will calculate automatically the quantity that he has after. So I'm gonna click net and submit it. So now everything it's submitted. And as you can see, it's still at 10. So I'm gonna connect as a stock manager. He will receive a notification about the stock. It's already here. So as a stock manager, he received that there is an order of 2 boxes and 3 units. How many quantity that you have? You can say, yes, I have the quantity. So I'm going to give you exactly what you ask and then submit it. So now there is no more task for the stock manager. So I'm going to go back to the CHW. I will do a quick refresh, synchronization. So he has a task that's saying that he received some stock. So here at this moment, he can confirm that I receive the stock, the 2 boxes or 3. So he can say yes and click on next. And now if I submit it and go back to the inventory, you can see right here that he has now 12 boxes plus 3 in it. So the stock has increased automatically. So, and I wanted to show you something. So when the CHW do his work, so the stock will decrease automatically based on what we have. So remember that we have 12 boxes and 3 units for RDT, and for the remaining stock, I put 10 everywhere. So we remember that. So I'm going to do quickly a patient assessment so that you can see. So he has a fever today. Next, do you have tumor? Let's say 38. This is 9. So there is no danger sign. Next. So do you have CT? Yes. So as you can see, the RDT, he say how many boxes that you have. You say, yes, I can do a RDT. So I will click next. This is the protocol. A minute. And it is positive. How many DRT you use? I will say 1. And there is no cough. No. I just wanted to show you. Never vaccinated. No. Okay, now we are at the summary of the patient assessment. So it's just a summary of what he did. And since the patient has malaria, so we have to give him a medicine. So here there is a reminder of how many stock that we have. Do you want to give paracetamol? I will say yes. And I have this. And based on that, I'm going to select give 1 tablet 1 to 4 times a day. Did you give it? I will say yes, I give it. And for the ACT, I will select artisanate. And we have, since he has 1 year old, I will select that one. And it is 1 tablet for 3 days. So I'm going to submit it. So there is a treatment, of course, but if I go back here, as you notice, the RDT decrease of 1 because we use it. And you remember that we had some artisanal that we give, so it decrease of the number that we give. Same thing for the paracetamol. So we have now 9 tablet and no, 9 tablet, 9 Brixel and 20 tablet. So this is how it works. So everything is decreased automatically, and for this one. And for the stock return, as I mentioned, he will just say which one he wanted to return and for what reason, and a notification will be sent to the stock manager. And let me quickly go so that you can see, but I think I will sync. Yeah, return confirmation. Click on next. You can put a comment and then submit it. So that is that is all for the demo. So do you have any question? I'm here to respond. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thanks, Yael. That was a great demo. You can see appreciation from the community members. Quick one. I think before, have we already configured validation in that we can't be able to fill or be able to deliver services without indicating that we have stocks for specific commodities? So I remember when you logged in, you were able to update and add the number of commodities that you have. Is it possible currently for the CHW just to go direct to service delivery and try to issue drugs, even if they are not in the stock?
No, it is not possible because normally, based on the protocol, he should not do that. But what the option that we had, it's when he want to give, there is, you remember there was a question, if I can give this medicine, I will select no because I'm out of stock. So that's that's the solution that we put in place. But we do not block the CHW to not give medicine. He just have to refer the patient to the health facility in order to take the medicine. But for now, he can say, yes, I have it, even if he doesn't have it. But this is some improvement that we can do definitively. But yeah, we need to discuss with the partner. But yes, that's a great question. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Any other question from the community?
I had a quick question, maybe two questions, just on how you configured a couple of those things there. And this maybe I have something you can answer, or maybe Paul can share his magic here. And the first one was in that the patient assessment form, there was several places where you had kind of call outs on the stock status in there. And I was just curious actually how that details summary display was configured in the form. Is that just a HTML details block that you put into a note, or how did you get it? It looks very nice.
I will let my colleague develop answer, Ro or Paul.
Yeah, so I can answer to that. So we are using the user contact summary. The stock is duplicated with the CHW site summary and CHW user summary. So it's duplicated, and if we want to display it in form, we use the user contact summary data.
Nice. The other question that I had was on the contact summary card for the inventory. And I think I've seen this before, but while I was presenting, I was double checking our documentation and I didn't see anything in there about changing the color of the text based on how much, like, the value of the stock, so the yellow or red or green. So I'm curious, how is that being achieved? Is this something we just need to add to the documentation, or you guys got some custom magic here to make that happen?
So I think we use some HTML in the contact summary, yes.
All right. Roman, I think it's also something we could add in our CHT doc sites, and other partners and implementers can be able to take advantage of that. So one of the next steps might be we open up an issue just to update and share a way we have been able to configure that. I think it will help the community so much.
Yeah, we could share the stock monitoring module in the CHT doc.
All right. So we can move to the next. Thanks, Josh and Romward and Yel for that presentation. We can move to the next phase of presentation where we are going to look at the Ivory Coast app interoperability with DHS2. The good thing with this work is last year we were able to work as a squad and be able to build workflows that showcase CHT DHS2 interoperability as a squad, and we are happy that the team has been able to take advantage of this work and be able to deploy that in Ivory Coast. So Paul will be coming up just to present that work.
Thanks, Anthony. Can you hear me, please? Sure, thanks. Next slide, please. So CHWs collect a huge amount of data through something called CV. And the MOH track its national indicators within DHIS2. So without a custom bridge or a performance bridge, without the tool system, it will be quite difficult and the data stays invisible at the national level. So for this course, we have built an automated bridge using OpenFM, which will be staying in the middle. And each month, the workflow reads the already aggregated indicators that have been thoroughly set with the accord of the MOH through some session to define the different indicators, their sources, and which form to take in account. So after this session of definitions and validation, we build indicators in our Postgres, in the Postgres of the project, project. And then we use OpenFN to read these aggregated data, transform it, and use a mapping using Google Sheet mapping as file for mapping, and push this data directly into the DHIS2 through its API. So in this quick presentation, what we want to highlight is the different components that we have in this workflow while using OpenFN. One thing to highlight, the first thing is that the mapping is done in Google Sheet. So it will not require a code or a refreshing of a map view in the Postgres database when we add a new .chw site, for example, or if we want to update a data element when the definition itself has not changed. So it will just require some little change in a Google Sheet we'll see right now. And then at the next run, the workflow will just pick it up and then send the data to where it needs to be sent. So right now, I'm going to, next slide, please. So how does the workflows work to be concrete? So the first step is that it loads the config. So it pulls the config from from some configuration, JSON config that we set on OpenFN, and also it loads the mapping from Google Sheet. So we'll see how the mapping look like. And after that, it do some validation. It means that it check with the org units, like the CHW site, that data we have. It check among all these CHWs data, how much are already assigned to a data set in DHIS2. This is to save time because we will need to complete it, the data we sent later. And sometimes if one fails, it make the whole batch fail. So we have a pre-validation step to just filter out the CHW site that has not yet been, maybe they exist, but has not been assigned to a data site. So after that, we do some quick transformation by converting the Postgres rows from a wide form into a DHIS2 format, long with more JSON format. And after that, we just push the data values in batches to DHIS2 through the API. And to finish, we do some logging. We write the result to a Google Sheet or to a JSON file on Google Doc. And also we send some Slack alert. One thing or two things to mention here is that the workflow can be triggered manually through a webhook, like from a Postman or any tool that can do HTTP requests, even from Côte, for Côte lovers. And also we have a cron job for it, like for depending on the project. For this project, for example, it ran on the 10th, the 12th, and the 14th of every month. So I'm going to, if you want, I can share quickly my screen to take you through the whole thing very quickly. Can you see my screen? Sure. So I was talking about the workflow in general. How does it look like? Here is it. So we have a tool on TriPoint, the webhook that can be called from any tool, and the cron trigger. You can see that it run on 6 a.m. on the 10, 12, and 14th. And then we have the loading, which loads the configuration, load the mapping, and then do the pre-validation step that I've talked about. And then the transformation, the upload, archive data values. This is important because we want at a run, the latest run, we want to go back to it if something happened to see exactly the JSON data that has been sent to DHIS2. This is sometimes helpful for the DHIS2 managers to see the raw data that has been sent from some fix, or if they want to invalidate and resend. And also the completion step that can be skipped according to the project configuration. So it means that the data that have been sent, we want it to be completed. And then nobody at the DHIS2 level will be now checking and validating before completing the data. But from some project, the protocol wants it not to be completed, and they want to do it manually. So all this is configured in the configuration loading at the first step. And once that is done, we have the login step and then the summarizing, which also send an alert to Slack. So real quick, I would want to show you how the mapping look like. This is typically the mapping file. It has two sheets, the data elements mapping and the org units mapping. The data elements mapping map the data elements from DHIS2 to the indicators we have built that exist in our Postgrad database or map views typically. So each column of this map view is related to a data element on DHIS2. So this is how the mapping is done, and it's take in account all the different configuration of DHIS2, such as the combo, the category option combo name, the combo UID, and the aggregation type. The workflow takes it in account, and according to each data element configuration, it knows how to transform it and how to handle it before sending it to DHIS2. So at the second step, you have the org unit mapping, which map the CHI site, CHW site ID to the org unit ID in DHIS2. So every org unit in DHIS2 is mapped to a CHW site. So we have the ID mapping here, and also a quick hierarchy definition so that the manager can quickly find himself if you want to add element. So if we want to add a new element to this list so that the next time the workflow will be running, it will take it into account, we just have to add first to create the CHW on Santicom to a CAV, please, and then add it also in DHIS2. And then next time we just add it in this file without any code. And the next time the workflow will run, if that seed site have data in our CouchDB, you just pick it up after mapping. And that's how it works. And I was talking about logs. So we have some different steps while putting this workflow in place. We started with Google Sheet logs, where it loads the different issues or the most important one that are not duplicated. When it logs it, I'll spit it out here in this file. So we can know that a seed site has not been assigned to the considered data site for data set, for example, or if an indicator has not a relative in the data element. So all these can be seen directly here, and we know exactly how to handle it and how to work together with the partner above that. We have different logins, but I will not take too much time on this one. I will just show you the sync one that actually give an overview about each run, the total number of org unit that has been considered, the total number of values, and the success, the conflict. These are the different output or response we got from DHIS2. And to finish, I just want to show you how the notification that has been sent to Slack looks like. So can you see my Slack screen? Thanks. So we have the run ID, we have the period, the duration as well, and the different element about the transformation and also the upload result, and also links to the different logs and also the JSON I have been talking about, which the manager can use later on to resend to the DHIS2 or whatever you want. So actually, this is what we've been able to build from CIV, and also we've done the same thing with MOH Mali, and we are still improving the workflow according to the different situations. Not issue, but we want it to be very flexible and fluent, not really using CPUs and memories, so that everything can be very well flexible. So thank you for your attention. If you have any questions or feedback, we'll be glad to have it.
Thanks, Paul. Any question?
I have a quick one. Paul, amazing work. Really cool to see the flexibility and the configuration with Google Sheets and the transparent reporting in Slack. There is an existing integration in the CHT for DHIS2, and I wonder if you could give some of the benefits that the OpenFN integration offers on top of this, so that folks who maybe are using it and wondering about upgrading to it would know the differences.
Thanks, Mr. Jones. Sorry, I didn't talk about it, but yes, we have some adapter in OpenFN that use CHT directly. You can use it to communicate with CHT instance. And I don't know if you noticed, but when I was sharing the screen on the workflow, can you see my workflow screen right now? Good. So about the workflow.
Stop sharing your screen.
Yes, we share, yeah.
Good. Yeah. So you can see that we have some different icons. So on a first attempt, we use the CHT adapter, and we at this step when we were uploading or fetching, but the workflow has changed. So since it has changed, at a point we are no more sending data to the instance, but we are just reading directly from a Postgre. So in this workflow, we just change it to the adapters that we need. But we have different workflows. For example, in Togo, we have different workflows in which we are using the CHT adapter to read and to send data. Sometimes you can see the logo here. We are using it to parse, report, fetch data, and do different stuff. But for this particular workflow, the need has not been shown. So we use different adapter. I don't know if okay, sure, thanks.
All right. Thanks, Paul. Any other question to Paul? Josh, you can pull back the presentation. Lukman, you can take a minute just to take us through the next steps, as you also invite Mr. Traore just to share his thoughts.
Thank you, Anthony. And I think that the both presentation we did is mainly focused on our project in Côte d'Ivoire. And one of the benefits we get from the workflow we develop is that having this end-to-end stock management workflow help the community health workers to have a full visibility of the stock movement, and also supporting people at a different level, including district and national health level, to be able to monitor the stock they have, reducing different stock out. And one of the approach we use is that, first of all, we develop the first version of the stock monitoring. And when we start doing the testing and receiving also feedback from our different stakeholders in Côte d'Ivoire, we see that we still have some improvement to use. So what we used to do is to see how we can implement. What we used to do is just to implement some CHT API and to be able to exchange different data within different tools, because we realized that
one of the needs and what we have in Côte d'Ivoire right now is that at the health facility level and the district level, they're already using another tool like M-Supply. So we try our best to be sure that the workflow we develop for the community health worker can directly intercommunicate between the existing national tool, the national community stock monitoring tool they are using at the country level. So we are now in the phase of testing, and we are sure that based on the result we have on the test, we know that partners and MOH in Côte d'Ivoire are quite impatient to move fully to the deployment. We're expecting to move to the deployment by the end of next week.
Right.
Next,
Thanks,
please.
Lukman.
I
Mr.
don't know.
Chole?
We have within the floor, we have some partners from Côte d'Ivoire. I don't know if Mamadou Traoré or somebody from Côte d'Ivoire want to say something. Mamadou Traoré is one of our strong advocates and champion in Côte d'Ivoire supporting Medic. He's working with Musso. I don't know if he has any thought to say many about the interoperability, because we just complete last week interoperability workshop in Côte d'Ivoire where they're able to test the workflow we develop and be sure that data collect from the CHT is directly derived to the DHS2. I don't know if Mamadou Traoré, je ne sais pas si tu as quelque chose à dire, peut-être une ou deux phrases pour dire un peu ce que vous pensez de l'interopérabilité qui a été faite. Okay, I think that's no thought, no feedback from Traoré or somebody else from Côte d'Ivoire. We can move to the next phase, Anthony.
All right. Thanks, Lukman and the team for the great presentation. Because of time, we can move to the next presentation, which is collapsible contact summary card. And we have a new contributor who has been able to build this feature. So inviting Mega to present.
Thanks, Anthony. So, hello everyone. Myself, Megha from India, and I'm currently a second year BTech student pursuing computer science and engineering. I have been contributing to CHT a few months now, and today I'm going to show you a feature I worked on, collapsible context summary cards. So, let me start with the problem. It's like when a community health worker opens a contact profile card page, they see contact summary cards at the top. These cards can show things like pregnancy status, immunization records, stock level, like very useful information. But here's the issue that every single cards are always very fully expanded. So there was no way to collapse them. So if a patient had multiple cards with lot of data, the health worker had to scroll past all of it to just reach task or record. Imagine like in the field on a small phone screen trying to quickly check a task and you have to scroll down 3 to 4 fully expanded cards first. That's really frustrating and also it slows the things down. So the ask was simple. Let user collapse and expand cards by tapping the header and also give app developer the ability to configure certain cards to collapse by default. So the most important cards are visible and everything else is tucked away until needed. So let me just start with the demo part. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. So as you can see, when I click on the Priya's contact profile, you can you can see two cards, active pregnancy card and an immunization card. Both have chevron on the right that tells the health worker these are interactive. The active pregnancy card starts open. The most important information are immediately visible. speak pregnant, EDD, risk factor, ANC visit right there. But the immunization cards, which has 20 plus vaccine records, they start collapse. It start collapse. Just the header is visible. The health worker doesn't need to scroll past all that to reach what they need. So when they need the vaccine details, they can just tap the header and it expands. All the records are right there. So if they can tap again and it collapses, clean toggle. So when I like when I reload, everything else reset to configure default. Active pregnancy open and immunization is collapsed exactly as the app developer configured. And on the config side, just we need to add collapse true to any card definition. The card will start collapse when the profile loads. When no property or collapse false is there, it means it will be default expanded, completely backward compatible with existing development. So it's all what I've worked in this feature.
All right, thank you. That was a great presentation. Yeah, Joe, should you like just to highlight that, and we can relate this to the Yale demo just to highlight how the contact summary was quite crowded?
Sure. And thanks, Anthony. And yeah, I love everything about this feature. When EL had the contact open for his user in the app, there was that big card that had all of the different stock values in it, and very relevant information, but also maybe not something that you want to have to scroll past on a mobile device every time you want to get down to the tasks or reports or anything else that's below those contact summary cards. So I think there's a lot of value in the information we can display to the user in these contact summary cards, and this is just another quality of life feature that we can leverage to help surface the most relevant information to the user. So thanks again, Mega, for your efforts in developing this, and really excited to see this coming soon in 5.2.
All right. I can see also Irene on the call. I think, Irene, you had similar feedback from Kenya, where users were sharing feedback that there is a lot of information in the contact summary card. Would you like just to share that?
Yes, so for commodity management in issues, there are a lot of commodities that you're tracking, I think up to 80 or something. And when the commodities show up on the screen, the CHV has to scroll a lot just to be able to get to where the households are. And I think this will be a very great feature for the CHPs. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Irene. Mega, back to you. How has been your experience in the past 1 to 2 months contributing to CHT? Any learnings, thoughts, or ideas on what we could improve on to support contributors?
It was a really very great experience, and the community is very welcoming. I really, it's when I work on the issue, when I got stuck, I just ask in the comment that I got stuck here, and the reviewer just give feedback about what's that and what they want, and it's really good.
All right, thanks. And it's great also to see you contributing to other issues. So looking forward to continuing seeing you submitting PR and also mentoring other community members. Andrew, I've seen your feedback. Would you like just to voice that?
Yeah, of course. Just thank you, Megha, for contributing such a meaningful and most needed functionality in the CHT. As you heard Irene, this you directly can see how this can impact, how your work can impact community health workers day to day. So really grateful to have you contributing. And I know you've contributed many more other functionalities. So thank you. Great job.
All right. Any questions to Mega? Yeah, Mega, great job there. Josh, we can move to the next slide.
Sure. Maybe one final shout out too for Elijah over here, because I think he was kind of the origin of this feature. We were sitting in I believe it was a UI extension squad meeting talking about some other things, but Elijah always kind of having the user's needs in the front of his mind. This came up as you know, having just scroll past so much context to get through things. And those of us that were on that squad meeting started kind of brainstorming what could be done to fix that. And it became pretty obvious really quickly that it was super simple in terms of a feature to go address that. So thank you, Elijah, for just always bringing your A game and keeping the CHWs in the front. And with that, I think I am up next, Anthony, on the 5.1 and 5.2 releases. So lots of cool features, including classical contact summary cards, are coming in 5.2.0. But currently, we have a couple of new releases from the last month here on the patch side of things. So 5.1.1 and 5.1.2 are bringing some bug fixes. So normally we ship features in the kind of minor releases, and then in these patch releases, we are only shipping bug fixes. We're trying to minimize the amount of changes that people have to absorb, while at the same time still being able to fix critical issues as we go through. So we've had a couple of bug fixes here. There's several things included in all of them. I won't get into each of them. You can read the release notes, but just to kind of highlight some of what was going on there. We had a layout issue for forms. If you were opening them from a task in the desktop view, there was some like you can see in the screenshot here, a huge amount of extra space on the side that came from some CSS issues. That's fixed. Yuvraj also came through and fixed a really old SMS issue where we were sending duplicate messages in some situations there. So it's great to have that in there and keep continuing to improve that functionality. And then finally, there was a challenge around some of our logic for triggering the user contact summary recalculation. So in fact, we were just talking about the user contact summary. Lukman was mentioning that's the core driver behind the stock monitoring workflow that they're using. And that's how you're able to see those stocks show up both on the contact summary card there and in the form. There was a bug in the code for re-triggering that calculation so that it wasn't being kept up to date like we expected. And so that has also been patched. These releases are out, they're available for upgrade, and we encourage everybody to take them there. Once again, thank you to the various contributors that have supported both of these releases. Back to you, Anthony.
Thanks. Any questions to Josh? I know, Romad, the fix for the contact summary would really help the stock monitoring workflow, right?
Yes. That's how the demo works right now. We couldn't demo without this fix.
All right. In which version are you on?
Hello?
Which version are you on? CHT version you're on?
The 5.2.1, I think.
Okay. All right. I think it should be 5.1 because we're expecting 5.2 to come out soon, right?
Yeah, 5.12. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right. we can move to the last slide. So we would like to thank you for joining the call and for your active participation. Major shout out to our presenters, Romward, Paul, Yael, Lukman, Mega, and Josh, and also to Josh for helping to facilitate this session, and to all of you. We'll be sharing the recording and notes next week, so look out for updates on the forum. So in terms of the next community events, we have the community meetup happening June 9th at 1 to 2 p.m. GMT. So this is a call where we discuss products, features, and priorities. So it will be great just to join and share your priorities and hear what the community would like to focus on. And then we have technical working sessions, of which we call the CHT Dev Hour, every 2 weeks. So the first one will be on May 28th, and the second one will be on June 4th. So if you have any technical questions, feel free to jump in and ask them. And then our next roundup will be on June 11th, 2026. I will stop there. I'm not sure if there is any pending question we would like to share or ask before we drop off. If not, thank you for your time. Looking forward to seeing you at the next community events. Enjoy the rest of your day or night, and looking forward to continue the conversation on the forum. Thanks and bye.